guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check this thing out. Brinly 54-inch lawn sweeper. I had a 42-inch lawn sweeper from Brinly. They offered to send me this as an upgrade. Bigger means less time spent using it, and so I'm all about that. So we're going to go ahead, cut this thing out of its box, go ahead and do an assembly video, part 2. I'll show you how easy it is to get this thing to suck up leaves and grass on your lawn. And in part 3, we'll do a long-term wrap-up sometime in the fall, showing you how well it worked out. I used the 42-inch to collect grass clippings, and I use it as the poor man's hay. So I bring that down to the chickens and the turkeys and whatnot and let them munch on that. So it supplements their feed, reduces costs for feed costs. So it's a really nice little thing to have. So kind of an unconventional use for one of these, but one that has turned out to be very, very useful for me. All right, this is a big box. If it's anything like its smaller brother, this also has quite a few pieces to put together, but that's okay. I think the last one took me around an hour from start to finish. Of course, I was a younger man back then, so it may take quite a bit longer, but we'll see. I think what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and unbox everything, and then we'll figure out what we've got and how we're going to have to go about assembling it. All right, well, I've got it pretty much out of the box and all the little bits and pieces cut out. Put most of my equipment over here, although there is a metal rod that goes over here. I've got the manual here, and I've got this, which is really nicely done. If you take a look at that, every single piece, and I love it. Panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, right? And it goes through all those so that you know exactly where this stuff goes. That is a huge help. They also sent a little notification here, little yellow piece of paper saying that the 2 rubber caps in the kit had been updated to 2 different rubber caps. That's kind of cool as well. Owner's manual, significant, 20 some odd pages. Let's see here, 26, 27 pages, something like that. And it is, it's everything. It's the assembly video, or assembly instructions, I should say. I'm making the assembly video. But then it's also how to use it, how to repair it, and so on and so forth. So pretty nice. Step 1, let's get right to it. Attach the tubes using hardware from panel 1 as shown. And so right away it's telling us we're going to need this stuff here. So I'll go ahead and peel that out. Hopefully get all those loose. All right, these first pieces here, they go right here. Don't they? Like so. They're going to fit in there like that. You got one that comes across, 2 that come up from the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and install the ones that come from the bottom first, and then we'll raise up on it because the top one's a little trickier to get into place. Don't tighten anything down until you got everything started. So we got this one here. There we go, once we got it in there. Cool, I'm going to do the other side as well. Okay, got all those attached. We'll go ahead and tighten those down. It's a good time to break out my electric ratchet. It'll be perfect for this job. I got this electric ratchet from Bohr, and yeah, it's nice. All right, round 2. So height hitch plate measurement. This is the next step here, and there's some options here for however tall your tractor is. If hitch plate, and in our case, we're going with the 7.5 is pretty much where we're at, so I'm going to go with 7. All right, so we're moving on to number 2 here, and what we're getting out of this is 3 bolts, 3 locking nuts. All right, set that aside. Now you will need a 13 wrench for this. So, all right, we're installing this piece right here. That sits up on the front. My measurement says it's 1 from the top, so let's go ahead and get that on there. And it sits like that. This last one here goes through back and the behind, but that's what the spacer's for, so kind of gotta wedge that in there a little bit. there he goes. Once it's in, it's in. And we can tighten all of those down. Say you sold your mower, got a different rider, got a different size tractor. This can be adjusted anytime you want to. Just don't throw away your manual. Step 3. Well, I'm sorry, that was step 3 we just completed there. That wasn't too bad. Step 4. Let's see here. Loosely add bolt 13 and lock nut 21 from panel 4. And this piece here is going to go right there. And this kind of sits down in it. It just sits there. So it's saying to kind of start it. And once you get it started, you get that locked in there. Alrighty. On to the next panel here, and it looks like we're going to be adding our adjusters. And let's see, it goes through this center hole here. It wants us to put this through our center hole right there. Okay. And we're going to put the bolt in through the inside. So in through here. Okay, so we're going to stick this in here. We're going to put a washer on it first through. Another 19 washer. Okay, it's very specific how they want this thing to go into place. And then we've got, install that. Not a lock nut, this is just a regular nut. Okay, we're going to tighten that one down. Okay, so that's kind of stuck in place. So you put your washer on here, slide this on, another washer, and then our last lock nut, and then tighten that down as well. All right. Then the last step it says for this is we're going to put a little red cap on that to keep you from cutting yourself when you're stepping on, coming across this thing. You don't want to cut your leg open. All right, next page. Step 7. More pieces getting cut out. Oh yeah. Man, we're past the halfway point, it looks like. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut that loose. If I can do that without cutting myself off. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. And we're going to get some pieces off here. I've got 2 rubber pieces. One's going to be for there, one's going to be for here. And we have this set up here. That helps us with our height adjust. And so let me cut all that out of there. And we'll get that assembled and installed real quick. We have a big washer, small washer. Oh, if I can get that from flying off. And then this, which we don't need any tools. So while we're adjusting it in the yard, we don't need anything. Nothing special. And there it is. That's how we adjust the height. Let's move on. All right, next up over here, we're going to be putting on the stuff in panel 7. And as far as assembling that, let's see here. It says going from the inside out through there, bolt with washer, another washer, lock washer, nut, and it says to tighten that down. Okay, and then a little plastic to keep yourself from getting hurt on that end cap. I like that they're doing that so we don't scratch ourselves up. Also have a kid walk by or something get hurt, that'd be all right. Made myself a little bit of room here, and we're moving on to step 9, which is assembling the hamper frame. And what it looks like is this piece right here. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right, so we have this piece here, and then we have these 2 pieces here. So 1 bolt and 1 bolt. And that's panel 4 hardware. Panel is 8. Okay, so got this piece here. We're going to slide this in until it lines up. This is kind of interesting. It doesn't use a nut or a bolt. It uses this plastic tab to hold that in place. Do the same thing on the other side. We're ready to fold out our bag or our grass catcher. Cool. This is the bottom of that grass catcher. So let's go ahead, unwrap that. Okay, next step, got this large piece here in the front. And this one needs to be fed through. So there's holes here. I don't know if you can see them okay, but you'll see what I mean here in a second. This slides through, and this can be a bit tricky because you got this 90-degree turn that you're making with it. There we go. And once it gets to the third pocket, you attach it to this and use one of these little plastic pieces down here at the bottom. Just lining those up is a bit of a nitty-gritty here on the parts. We don't have a ton left. Attach those two and secured. Let's move on to the next page. The hinges assembly, which are right here. There we go. And then the second one goes through here. And then we repeat on the other side. Okay. All right, got that all together. Very tight fit, no doubt. All right, we've got this rod right here. And pretty much what it's saying here is we've got 4, and we are literally 2 away from being done. So what it wants you to do now is take one of your non-lock washers, non-lock nuts, screw it down onto the shaft here until it's about halfway, they're saying. That looks about halfway. Then you're going to slide this thing, and this is kind of tricky, I'm sure, through this, and through this, and then through the base of the bag. Through this side as well. Now I'm going to use a pair of vice grips to kind of hold that in place. Little channel locks, vice grips, something like that. Hold that rod steady. And then once it butts up against the one below it, we can tighten that down too. There we go. Okay. Now some adjustment has to be made here. This one is too far over, so I'm going to have to kind of wiggle the bottom tray over a little bit till it gets into place. And then we're ready to move on to our last step here. We've got these pieces here. We are going to put a bolt through that section right there. And we're going to put this piece on. But first we're putting on our spacer. And then we're putting on that, but we're facing it that way. And then we have a large washer and a lock washer. Cool. That's it. And it's saying those 2 caps, that would be these 2, not the ones that came with it, because those caps are apparently the wrong size, or they were not a high enough quality, so Brinly decided to upgrade that. They go on the back here. So those caps that are there, I'll just hang on to those. I'm sure they'll fit some other project someday. And we're down to the last 2 pieces. 2 pins and 2 retainers. And that holds this onto that. And then in part 2, we'll go try this thing out. So roll this back here. This would be a whole lot easier with 2 people. I won't lie to you about that, but we can still get her done. Let's see. Oh, just a little more. I'll go ahead and get the other side in. The very last thing you're going to do here is you got this rope, and this is our release, right? So when we go down the road here with this mess, it fills up this very large container, right? And we tie it off. Oops. We tie it off to the back here around this. When you get to where you want to get to dump this stuff, well, you just pull up on this back half here, and she'll dump. And that's not too bad, is it? You don't even have to get off your chair. I like that. And the front side of this gets attached to our very last piece, which is our handle here. Now, they thought of everything. A little hard to see here on camera, but that right there is Velcro and sticky, so you can stick this on the back of your tractor. That way you're not holding on to this while you're driving around. But that'll be in part 2. That does it for part 1, the Brinly, and it is a beast here. That's a whole lot bigger. 42 to 53, I guess that shows. Now, I did goof one thing. I'll have to go back and fix it. These straps here, they're supposed to be, for this, is supposed to be up and attached to something here, but I can attach it to that. We just keeps them from the leaves from blowing all the way out, so that's why that's supposed to be there. I guess I just missed that, but I'll give you the simulated look. And that's the simulated look of how it should be, right? Well, thanks to Brinly for choosing to work with me again here in 2024. This channel started off as a lawnmower station, and I think I like doing mower videos. I like doing garden tractor stuff. I love small engine repair. It's been a big part of my life. Eventually, we're going to start another channel that's dedicated just to that. But for right now, I don't mind adding content like this. There you go. I will see y'all next time. Take care.